A very good morning to all of you there. Today we will be continuing with business activities that we have done last class. So let us see, what did we do last class? We did last class types of business activities. There were two types. Either the businessman is doing the work in industry or he is involved in commerce. We have done everything in industry. What is the definition of industry? What are the types of industry? Primary, secondary, and tertiary. And then we have gone into details how many primary industry, how many secondary industries. Now, children, today we will be concentrating on commerce. So, you all have taken commerce stream. So, what is commerce all about? Actually, what is the sense? What is the meaning of commerce? Let us see. So, what is commerce, children? Commerce involves all those activities which are necessary for facilitating exchange of goods and services. Now, once the goods are made, it has to be exchanged. Then only it is possible that trade will happen or business will happen, isn't it? So, commerce deals with all those activities which are very necessary for exchange of goods, like wholesale trade. Okay, have you heard about wholesale trade? Like bulk trade, okay, that is wholesale trade. Like retail trade, imports, exports, transport, communication, banking services, etc. So all those activities which are facilitating trade or facilitating the exchange of goods and services is termed as commerce. So children, you should know the definition of commerce which is given here. Is that okay? So next we will be going into what is the types of commerce. What are the types of commerce we have to do? There are two types of commerce, children. One is trade and one is auxiliaries to trade. Now trade, many things you are knowing, okay, what is trade and what are the things what are the things we have to study in trade, okay? And then we'll talk about auxiliaries to trade. Now let's see what is trade, okay? So trade refers to buying and selling of goods and services with the aim to earn profit. So if I say a businessman is doing trade, it means he is buying goods, okay, for the purpose of selling to the consumers, okay? So there are businessmen who are purchasing commodities and then they are selling it to the consumers or the final users, isn't it? And with the intention of earning profit. So trade refers to buying and selling of goods. It involves exchange of goods and services amongst the buyer and the seller. So there will be a person who is the buyer and there will be a person who is the seller. When exchange of goods or services takes place between these two individuals, it is termed as trade. Okay? So what are the types of trade? There are two types of trade, children. One is termed as internal trade and one is termed as external trade. Now, what is internal trade? Trade within the boundaries of the nation is termed as internal trade. So, whatever trade which is happening within a nation is termed as internal trade. So, if I am telling there is trade happening between two businessmen, one in Calcutta and one is Jharkhand, one in Jharkhand, it means this is internal trade because it is within a nation. So what are the two types of internal trade that we come across? You can see wholesale trade and another is retail trade. So two types of trade are wholesale and retail. What is wholesale trade? When goods are purchased and sold in bulk quantities, it is called wholesale trade. And what is retail trade? When goods are purchased and sold in comparatively smaller quantities, it is called retail trade. Now here children, I take the example of Upper Bazaar. Many of you have gone to Upper Bazaar. You must have seen wholesale shops, okay? Especially the Upper Bazaar area dealing with wholesale of clothes, okay? So when there is a marriage ceremony at your homes, okay? So what do you prefer? You prefer to purchase clothes in bulk, okay? So when the trader is giving you products only in bulk, that is many products together, okay, and he is charging less from you, isn't it? So that is termed as wholesale trade. The retailers or the individual shopkeepers, they cannot buy from another retailer and sell to you, then there will be no profit at all, isn't it? So what does the individual trader do? He will go to such a market where he can purchase in bulk quantities, whether it is cloth, whether it is your ration, okay, whether it is your any other item, okay, where he will, what the retailer or the single shop owner will do, that he will just take the things in bulk quantities from the wholesale market, which will be cheaper, okay, and then he will come to the shop, and from his shop, that is a retail shop or retail trade, he will do, and he will sell it further to the final consumers, okay. So in this way he can make some profit out of it, okay, because wholesale price is less and retail price is more, okay. So here children, wholesale trade, when goods are purchased and sold in bulk quantities, it is called wholesale trade. And retail trade, when goods are purchased and sold in comparatively smaller quantities, like you can see in your locality, in especially whichever area you all are living, okay. Small retail shops you can see, maybe it is a stationery shop, okay. So those shops are retail stores or retail shops where individually you can purchase one or two commodities, okay. So this is it, wholesale and retail trade, okay. So let us come to the next clip. You can see here, this is a go down, okay, where number of things have been kept. This is wholesale trade. You can see this clip, okay. So this is what is wholesale trade, where a number of things are kept and things are usually given in wholesale or in bulk, okay. Next you can see here, this is a lady purchasing commodities, okay. She's purchasing the commodity. This is retail trade children, okay. So here she is taking for her own that is family requirements. So she is taking less commodities, okay. So this is retail volume, okay, or sale. Is that okay with all of you? Okay. So wholesale and retail, very simple children. You just need to know the definitions, okay. Very simple, okay, and you already know it. I think the concept you're already knowing. Next is external trade. Also it is known as international trade or foreign trade. So you must be knowing what is international trade or foreign trade. So what is international trade? It refers to buying and selling of goods and services between people and organizations of different countries. So when two or more countries are involved in buying and selling of goods and services, it is termed as external trade. So it is of three types: import, export and entry port. You already know what is import children. So can you tell me what is import? That is selling of goods or buying of goods. Import is buying of goods, isn't it? So let us see the definitions of each one of them. Definitions of import means buying of goods from foreign country. That is import. It is coming within your country. Export means selling of goods to foreign countries. Okay, so when you sell the goods to foreign countries, it can be any country, it is termed as export. Now there is a new term, children, that is termed as entry pot trade. Now what is entry pot trade? It means importing goods from a country for the purpose of exporting to other countries. Okay, so sometimes the trader, what he does is he will import goods from a certain country. Supposing that the trader imports certain goods from Germany, and then the importer who has imported goods from Germany has now exported it to Nepal or other countries. Okay, so importing from other country and then again exporting to the other countries. This is what is entry pot trade. Okay with this, all of you? So let us see the next clip. Now children, when we talked about what is commerce, we have talked about that commerce is of two types, isn't it? So I told you types of commerce is trade and auxiliaries to trade, isn't it? So trade already we have completed. We did the definition, types of trade and internal external trade just now. Now the second topic is auxiliaries to trade. Now students, there are 5 auxiliaries to trade that we should know. Auxiliaries means activities that help in the smooth flow of trade. Okay, so like insurance, banking, warehousing, advertising, etc. Okay, so anything that helps in trade sidewise. Okay, like transport and communication. Generally goods are manufactured at a particular location, children. Okay, so goods may be manufactured in certain regions, like when we talk about kesar. Okay, all of you know what is kesar? Yeah, that is something edible. Okay, so that usually we get it in the areas of Kashmir and all that. Okay, so from there it has to be reached, it has to reach throughout the world, not only to India but throughout the world. So how is it possible? It is only possible if the various means of transport like trucks, airways, air, water, etc. are used, isn't it? So trade is being helped by transport and communication. Is that okay? Not only this, supposing tea is manufactured in Assam and Darjeeling, but these are consumed all over the world. Okay, so this is made possible only because of transport. So what does transport help in? It creates place utility, children. That is, the production happens in one place and it reaches to other places. So place utility, okay, happens with transport of goods, okay, and communication. Thereafter, along with transport, communication is also very important service. Okay, it helps in exchange of information amongst the producers, consumers and traders. So how can we communicate with people? Today we have an important medium, that is internet. Okay, so communication we can do through internet, postal service, telephones, etc. So this is what is auxiliaries to trade. That is number 1, transport and communication. Okay, this I have done in details in the previous previous clip also. Okay, next we talk about auxiliaries to trade, that is banking and finance. So does banking and finance help the business? Okay, when the businessman wants money, does he have to go for banking from the banks or any other institution which gives finance to them, the businessman? So banking and finance is the backbone of the business. Okay, so business requires funds for obtaining assets, purchasing raw material, meeting day-to-day expenses. So from where will it get? Will the businessman get it from? From the banks or financial institutions. Okay, so therefore this is very important for business. Next we are having is insurance. So when we talk about insurance, when do we need insurance, children? We need insurance when the business is facing certain kind of risk. When I did business risk, I have told you a number of risk the businessman has to overcome. Okay, like there can be fire, there can be theft, there can be natural calamities, etc. Isn't it? So when there is loss in business, who will come to their rescue? It is the insurance company. Insurance company helps the businessman to protect him from such risk. Okay, so therefore the insurance company is undertaking that is the loss of goods by receiving a nominal premium in advance, and thereafter when there is a loss, it is going to compensate the loss for the businessman. Okay, so next is we are having warehousing. Now children, warehouse, you should know, that is a storehouse. Okay, now many goods are produced in certain seasons, especially when we talk about agricultural products. The production is happening in a certain season, but the consumption might happen throughout the year. Okay, like rice, wheat, etc. So there is a gap. Manufacturing might, or production might happen in one time, and consumption might happen throughout the year. Okay, so how is it possible for the businessman to provide things throughout the year? It can happen only with the help of, that is termed as your warehousing, isn't it? So warehousing helps the businessman to eliminate the hindrance of storage of goods. Okay, so a storage happens, and therefore the goods can be available throughout the year. This storage or warehousing creates time utility. That is, it was made or manufactured or produced in a certain time, and it is being consumed in a certain time. So it is made possible only by these big warehouses. Okay, so if these warehouses were not there, the goods might be spoilt. Therefore it is very important part of trade. Okay, so this is auxiliaries to trade. Next is children advertising. Now if you need any kind of information, does advertising give you information? It is possible for the manufacturer that to go to each and every house. It is not possible, isn't it? So what will the businessman do? He will advertise his products. He will talk about the information to the consumers about the price of the product, quality, result of the product, availability, use, precautions, etc. of the product. Okay, and this can happen only through advertisement. So any kind of hindrance of information, that is, when we advertise, we are removing the barrier of information. Okay, so this is what is advertising. Okay, so you can read this in details, children, in your book as well. Okay, so now let us see what is the hindrance or barriers that the businessman is facing, and how does he break these barriers. Okay, so the first one, removal of hindrance. Hindrance means barriers or difficulties with auxiliaries. Okay, so how can we remove the barrier of place? That is, how can the goods travel from one place to another? It can happen from transport and communication. Transport via trucks, railways, etc., and communication via telephone, internet, etc. Okay, so now the next barrier, that is finance. That is a big barrier to the businessmen, isn't it? They always need fund for business. So who will help them? That is banking and finance. Removes hindrance of finance. Next is hindrance of risk. So whatever risk the businessman is facing, he can turn to the insurance companies, isn't it, to overcome this problem or barrier. So insurance removes hindrance of risk. Warehousing removes hindrance of time. Just now I told that since the goods are required throughout the year, so it is stored. So time utility is created. It was manufactured in one time, but it can be availed of in other times of the year. Then advertising removes the hindrance of information. That is, any information can be given to the consumers through advertisement. Okay, so that is the barrier to information, that the consumer is not getting the information, can be solved through advertising. Okay, with this all of you? So now children, there is one more hindrance that you should know, and I'm telling you in this last topic. Okay, that is hindrance of person. I have not written it anywhere. Hindrance of person. Okay, so commerce removes hindrance of persons. Okay, by making goods available to the consumers from the manufacturers through effective trade channels. Okay, so this I will be asking you on in the classes. When I take the class, I will be asking hindrance of person is sorted out by commerce. Commerce we just did. What is commerce? Okay, that is making available goods through effective trade channels. Okay with this? So please write it down. Hindrance of person can be removed through commerce. Okay, and by making goods available to the consumers from the manufacturers through effective trade channels. Okay, write it down. Okay, so this is it children. So we are winding up with this chapter. Okay, so we have done what is industry, commerce, trade, etc. So today I have given you a number of questions. You can just go through the questions. You can keep a side book also, any side book that you desire. Okay, that can be Sandeep Garg. You can take Alag. You can take any other, that is Meena Verma. Okay, where you're having a number of case studies. Okay, so thank you to all of you. Have a nice day. Bye bye all of you.